Okay, so here's the scoop on Joe Abercrombie. This guy is seriously blowing up in the fantasy world right now. You might have heard the news. James Cameron, yeah, the director behind Terminator and Aliens, is switching gears from his Avatar stuff to turn Abercrombie's latest book, The Devils, into a movie. That's huge. The Devils is wild. It's set in this medieval Europe, but with a crazy twist. The Pope is a 10-year-old girl, and there's this elven army about to invade. The main guy, Brother Diaz, teams up with this really bizarre crew. A vampire, a werewolf, and a necromancer, kind of like a medieval Suicide Squad. Abercrombie calls it that himself, mixing the chaos of the A-Team with the gritty drama of Game of Thrones, all wrapped up in this dark, Tolkien-inspired vibe. Joe's been quietly building his name since his first book dropped in 2006. Now The Devils is topping bestseller charts on both sides of the Atlantic, even hitting number 5 on the New York Times hardcover list. He's sold around 5 million books total, which is crazy for epic fantasy, since it's usually kind of a niche thing. What makes Abercrombie stand out is his style, sharp wit, really complex characters, and this dark humor that makes grimdark fantasy feel fresh and alive. Unlike a lot of grimdark authors who can get super heavy and bleak, Joe mixes in humor and charisma, so his characters feel real and relatable, even when things get brutal. A fantasy blogger named Hugh Gregg says his blend of humor with violence and drama makes his work stick with you longer than typical fantasy stuff. He said that George R.R. Martin's Game of Thrones was a big influence, how Martin shook up fantasy with morally gray characters and unpredictable plots instead of the usual good versus evil story. Joe took that vibe and made it his own, focusing on shocking, exciting stories with characters that really grab you, starting with his debut, The Blade itself. While Martin's series is still unfinished, Abercrombie has already put out 6 novels and 2 story collections, proving he's all about finishing his stories. Fans have asked if he'd pick up where Martin left off, but he's clear that every author needs their own voice. Right now, he's working on the next book in the Devils series, and with Cameron involved, we can probably expect a movie that really nails the dark, edgy spirit of his books. So yeah, Joe Abercrombie's journey from grimdark author to Hollywood's next big fantasy star is super exciting. It's like fantasy is entering this awesome new phase where smart storytelling, darkness, and humor all come together in a way you just can't forget.